Hey there. So, in case you didn't read the title, or if you just are a really big fan of refreshers, this right here is 8BitDo's Pro 3 controller. And as you could likely infer... Hold on. Shoot. Oh my lord, that I am not even going to show that on the camera. Yeah, some bloodshed got me fired up right now. Let's go! Anyways, like I was saying, the 8BitDo Pro 3 is, as you could likely infer, the third in the line of 8BitDo's Pro controllers, the second one being released a few years ago, and the first one, which was known as the SN30 Pro Plus, was released several years back. And like most generational updates, it came with a slew of additional features, such as these additional bumpers, right? I don't know what I would really call them. They kind of remind me of like those new 3DS bumpers. They're even kind of like the same kind of clickiness. I think it's like a mouse click sort of thing. They're labeled as L4 and R4, which I think is really cute. And back here you have the paddles, I guess. It is PR and PL, so I think they are considered paddles by 8BitDo. And they're not mouse click, but they are still just as satisfying to click. And right here, we have a switch right here that allows us to change either just one or both of the triggers to be either analog, which it is right now, or digital. And when it's digital, you also have that same sort of mouse clicky, that satisfying mouse click that you get with the bumpers right here. And I tend to go with analog because I'm not personally really used to the digital switches. Like, I really like them. Like, they're very satisfying to click, and I would love to use them more often, but something that I noticed is that whenever I hold down the trigger, when I take off a little bit of pressure on accident, say like when I'm aiming down like my sights or whatever, it just, you know, I just stop aiming down the sights even though I am holding it down. That may just be a me problem. I'm pretty sure I just need a bit more time with using the controller as well as its, you know, features and stuff. But, you know, that's something that I just wanted to talk about with that. And let's just talk about the elephant in the room right here. What the heck's going on right here? The controller didn't come this way. This controller actually has magnetic buttons that you could pull out. There is a dedicated tool to pull them out. I don't have it on me right now, but you could pull it out and you could pretty much rearrange these buttons however the heck you want. I tried to go for a GameCube aesthetic because this is a GameCube, like, you know, palette for this controller, which is really nice. There were two other like colors that you could get with the controller. You could either get it in a color that looks like this, which is very reminiscent of the Game Boy. This is the SN30 Pro. This is a different kind of controller, but it is very like, you know, very similar to this controller. And then we have this other controller right here, which is also an SN30 Pro, but it's got a big funny little archaic looking wire right there. And this one's going for more of like a PlayStation aesthetic. You got the colored buttons right there, the blue, pink, red, or orange, and green. So you could get this controller in either of these like colors, depending on what you want. Yeah, as you can probably tell, I really do like 8BitDo a lot. I love a lot of their controllers. And in fact, one of the controllers that I mentioned before, this first generation of this controller, is one that I actually used for quite a while, and we're going to talk about that one right here. And it's this baby right here, and as you can probably tell, it's very similar to the Pro 3. The only difference is that it's not known as, like, you know, just the Pro. It's the SN30 Pro Plus, and despite the name, it is pretty much almost exactly the same, except there are a little bit of differences. For one, this is based off of like the Super Nintendo color scheme, which you can't get for this controller. It's a damn shame that you can't get this kind of color scheme at all, but you know, what can you do? Maybe they didn't want to get sued by Nintendo, but I also have this, so I don't know what's going through the minds of 8BitDo, but they should 8-bit do something about having no SNES color scheme. But yeah, it's pretty much almost exactly the same. The only things that are missing are the additional bumpers, the back paddles right here, the switches, and yeah, please, oh my god, please disregard how disgusting this controller is. This was like my main controller for like a good while until I ended up getting this controller, and then switching over to that controller a little bit after. So yeah, it's pretty grimy, it's pretty gross. Look at that, I didn't even notice that. That's disgusting. There's like, I'm pretty sure there's like an entire like colony just cultivated in there. That's gross. Trust me, I don't like seeing it as much as you do, okay? I just gotta get that out there. Getting this controller and then using it and then keeping in mind this controller, it had me wondering, is there really any reason to get the Pro 3 over the SN30 Pro Plus? And as a person that used the SN30 Pro Plus for quite a while, many years in fact, I guess it all comes down to price really, because the Pro 3 is currently going for $70. I managed to get this thing on sale, which, you know, freaking surprising because this thing came out pretty recently. I think it came out July-ish? Maybe late July, early August. I'm not too sure about that. But yeah, I managed to get it on sale for around $60. And this controller right now is currently going, at least going off of the GameStop website, it's currently going for around $25, which is a fraction of the price of this controller. And you know, these are pretty much almost the exact same controllers except for some missing features. I didn't even mention it, but you can remove these analog sticks right here. You could pull them off and you could replace them with these, I don't know how to properly describe it, but it's like a ball-tipped sort of analog stick. You could put it on there, and I tried to use it, but I had no clue. My fingers were just like, you know, just like freaking out. And it's cute because they are yellow, so it does match the C-stick for the GameCube controller, but I don't know if it's the proper things to use for like gameplay. I think it's more of like an aesthetic thing, like if you just want to display the controller, which by the way, man, there are a lot of things that I didn't even mention. Okay, I'm just gonna get like all the other stuff about this controller out of the way. So these triggers right here are, I believe, Hall effect or TMR or whatever that's called. The triggers, as well as the thumbsticks, and the thumbsticks right here are they have like a bit of like a metal, like sort of like stem right there. So when you like push it against like the gate right there, the analog stick gate, it has like a very smooth like feel and sensation, which I do really like. And also the D-pad has a really clicky feel. It's not exactly like mouse clicks or anything, which, you know, is fine. I don't know if I'd want there's controllers that have mouse clicks for every single button, and I always thought they were cool, but I also thought that that might get really annoying because all you'd be hearing is just like, wait, hold on, it has gyroscope, it has a dock that you could place the gamepad onto. It's got like gold contacts right here that go against the pogo pins that are in the dock. The options that you could use for this controller, you have switch and X input, you have direct input, and you have switch. And these two right here, the left one and the middle one are Bluetooth. The right one right here is 2.4G, which you can use either or. And I personally use 2.4G because I just feel it's, you know, a bit more convenient. And I think that's pretty much all I could think about right now in regards to like features that I have to get off, like, you know, get off my chest before I end up like, you know, moving on to something else and then I realize I forgot about them. Oh, there's also a profile button right here. Cool. But yeah, so let's just get back to it. So is there any reason to get this over this? And I have to say that unless you care all about the extra features, I just noticed something. This is like centered more compared to this. That is something that I hate a lot about this controller. You know what? This controller is garbage right here. This, you know, just, it doesn't matter if you can't afford this, get out, like take out a loan or something, get this over that. No, but on the real though, all you really need is a basic Bluetooth controller that doesn't need all the frills, bells and whistles, etc. And also you want something that I guess is color schemed more like closely to the Super Nintendo, then I would recommend just going with this. But that's pretty much all I have to say. I just really wanted to talk about this controller because I think it's a really nice controller. It feels good, it feels amazing. I'm pretty sure a lot of people want to, you know, look into this controller. I personally have been wanting to get a new controller like this. I almost pulled pulled the switch on getting a Ultimate 2. But then this one came out of nowhere, and I was like, you know what? Fuck that Ultimate 2. I'm gonna get this right here. I'm sticking with that Pro 3 business right here. That 8BitDo Pro 3. Which, did you know, 8BitDo is pronounced as that, 8BitDo. It's not pronounced as 8BitDo, which is how I've been pronouncing it. And I'm pretty sure that a few of those pronunciations have slipped through during the making of this video. But yeah, I recently learned about that, and you know, after having my existential meltdown, I realized that it makes probably the most sense. 8BitDo. 8BitDo, because if it was dough, it would have like either H like Homer Simpson, or it'd be literally spelled like D-O-U-G-H or something, but that you don't get that right there. It's do. So 8-bit, do not call it 8BitDo. And just like how I stopped calling it 8BitDo, I am also going to stop this video right here. That's all I pretty much have to say about this controller. Once again, it's very, very good. If you do have the money, I guess go for it. But if you're trying to find like a budget solution, this will do the job. It's pretty good. Even, you know, after years of abuse, I feel like I could still properly use it. It may suck a little bit compared to a newer controller, but it's like an old friend, someone that you could rely on all the time, that you know will always be there to help you out when you need it. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.